Welcome back, everyone. Pal Ponder on Weather here. Welcome to Pal Ponder Ultra. In this update, we're going to be talking about the major ice storm that's unfolding across the southern plains and the mid-south, and take a look at the overall 850 millibar temperatures this afternoon. And these are crucial. These are about 5,000 feet up in the atmosphere, and we're looking at around 8 degrees Celsius. That equates to about 45 degrees Fahrenheit. That is significant because as precipitation falls, it's going to melt in that warm layer aloft and then refreeze on contact. But the difference is the last couple of days, we had a lot more sleet mixed in with this precipitation instead of freezing rain. But the difference is today, we've got a little bit warmer nose aloft and it's thicker. And so that way, as it falls, it's going to be refreezing on contact, and it should fall as all liquid and then refreeze with those freezing temperatures at the surface. And we saw that this morning across the central Texas area into the Round Rock, San Marcos, down in there into the Austin area. A lot of those areas have a quarter inch of ice accumulated on all the surfaces, accumulated into the power lines and all the trees. And then taking a look at about 1 o'clock this afternoon, we've got more precipitation forming and moving across portions of North Texas, out in there in West Texas, places like into Abilene. Their areas are going to get hit hard with more freezing rain. They've got ice storm warnings essentially from the Big Bend area extending all the way through Texas and portions of the southeastern portions of Oklahoma, through Arkansas, and all the way up into western Tennessee. It's about 1,300 miles extension of these ice storm warnings. But yeah, if we take you through time, you can follow the time above my head right there around 6 o'clock this evening. Another intense batch of freezing rain. And some of these at times could accumulate up to a 10 to 15 hundredths of an inch per hour. So this could turn downhill in a big way. Currently, there's about 300,000 customers without power in Texas, and I'm expecting a lot more to unfold as we get deeper into the afternoon, especially into the overnight hours through a good chunk of Arkansas, heading into the Memphis area. As we go through time and stop the clock around midnight, you can see another swath really building across southwest of Texas down there and towards Abilene. They're going to get hit hard as we get into the overnight hours. And if you take a look at the temperatures and where we are now, they're holding steady. And these temperatures have been, below freezing for a couple of days now. And yet we have another day of below freezing temperatures. So you can see here, these temperatures really don't go anywhere, right? It's holding right along that freezing mark. There's only been about a 2 to 3 degree spread the last couple of days across these areas, across Texas and much of the southern plains here. But even into tonight and going into tomorrow morning, you definitely see those temperatures are right around freezing still through around 5 o'clock this morning, going into tomorrow morning. So if we pick it back up again, heading into the overnight hours, you can see that swath of precipitation. We start to see the temperatures start to be right around 32 degrees in some areas. That's where the radar is picking up. And some of that could just fall as rain, but most of this is still going to be in the form of freezing rain into the overnight hours through a good part of North Texas and just really west of the I-35 corridor. I really think they get hit hard, with this particular setup, especially west of Fort Worth, say in the Weatherford area. Those areas down southwest of the Metroplex, I think, gets hit hard with this ice storm still to come, and also portions of the Little Rock area into Memphis, Tennessee. They're going to get hit hard. But you see the rain batch further down to the south. There's a lot of just cold rain as you extend further south. So we're going to have these temperatures try to elevate a little bit more as we get deeper into tomorrow morning. And that is when the winter storm watch officially ends, or the winter storm warning officially ends at 9 o'clock on Thursday morning. And you can see by Thursday afternoon, we're just kind of getting a chilly rain as temperatures finally start to get above freezing, but they don't really get much that above freezing. If we take a look at some of those temperatures going forward over the next 48 hours, you can see those temperatures right at around the freezing mark, even into tomorrow morning on Thursday. So as you wake up, try to get the kids to school. As the ice is the roads are still going to be covered. So I think a lot of these areas across where you've seen all the ice, I think still going to have the kids stay home one more day with major school closings across those areas with just all the ice that's going to be inundated on the roads, especially in the morning time frame. We are going to go through a little melting process during the afternoon where temperatures do start to elevate and lift back up into the mid to upper 30s. So you're going to have a thawing period. But unfortunately, as we get into the nighttime hour, all that is going to be going back to near freezing, if not below freezing, by the time we get into, say, early Friday morning. So I am expecting another refreeze process heading into Friday morning. So they even might have to delay schools even on Friday morning. So here's the concern when we take a look at some of these accumulations, and this is essentially on top of what we've seen so far. So we see a widespread swath, especially west of say the I-35 corridor here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, could pick up about a half inch of ice accumulations. You put a half inch on all the branches and all the power lines out there, you're probably talking about pretty significant power outages. And that's what's unfolded across portions of Central Texas, where we do have 300,000 customers without power currently. But as we see more waves come across Texas, and I think Texas hits the hardest with this particular setup, especially areas out west of the Metroplex and even into West Texas, could easily pick up another half inch of freezing rain. And then there's another swath that's going to move across central Arkansas as well as western parts of Tennessee. So if we zoom into some of these areas into Texas and look at some of these accumulations, this is the latest guidance of the HRRR guidance, hinting at not just a half inch, guys. This is what's serious. You start getting into, a half inch territory, that's what's considered damaging ice. You start getting into that crippling territory, that's about 3/4 of an inch. And some of this guidance actually has a little bit more of that in some of these isolated spots. So there could be some areas that could pick up about an inch thick of ice, and that is not good at all. So I think things start to go downhill in a big way going deeper into the afternoon, especially in the evening time frame, during the overnight time frame. So we still got a bumpy ride for another 24 hours before things kind of level off and start the old whole melting process. If we take a look at the overall NAM, kind of implies the same way. So we're starting to look at both of these mesoscale guidances and both of the short range guidances hitting at a significant event still to come across a good chunk of North, Central, and West Texas, across portions of southern and southeastern Oklahoma, as well as portions of northern Louisiana, pretty much all of Arkansas instead of the northern areas. But yeah, northwest parts of Mississippi here and the western zones of Tennessee will have to be on high alert of that just accumulating ice that is still to come over the next 24 hours. So let's take a look at the temperatures and see when we got some sort of reprieve, right? So we've been dealing with these freezing temperatures. I know we've been talking about this ice storm for a while, but man, this is still to come with another significant event. But there is light at the end of the tunnel with warmer temperatures on the way. So I think we finally get above freezing, as we get into the Thursday afternoon time frame. I think that's when temperatures kind of peak out right around 35 to 38 degrees in a lot of these areas that are seeing the ice. But unfortunately, like I mentioned, during the morning time frame on Friday, whatever's left, it's still on the surface as liquid precipitation is going to be refreezing with temperatures right around 28 degrees and around much of North Texas and West Texas, and even into Central Texas, you're still getting the freezing marks. So yes, I wouldn't be surprised they even delay schools even into Friday morning, maybe going in late after say 10 o'clock. because it's not really until about 10 o'clock that we finally get above freezing, but this time we stay above freezing as the sun will finally come out. You haven't seen that in a while down in those regions, and eventually you'll start heading back into, the lower 40s by the time we get into, Friday night, and then going into Saturday. I think that's when things really start to rebound, going into into the 30s, going into the middle 40s across those areas, and then it just gets even warmer as we go into Sunday. So I definitely wanted to update you on this significant ice storm that is unfolding across the southern plains and the mid-Atlantic, mid-south. So I am expecting more power outages, unfortunately. So definitely be prepared for that and have an emergency kit if you have to leave the house. If at all necessary, just stay home if at all possible and put yourself out of harm's way. So I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video, definitely hit the subscribe button, and catch me next update while I protect you before and after the storm.